The proceedings that took place in Parliament at the ad hoc committee, where we saw, of course, former Police Minister Bheki Cele taking the hot seat there, bringing some much needed clarity to some of those answers that MPs were fielding to him today. For this discussion, let's now welcome Professor Jacob Mofokeng, a crime as well as violence expert at the Tshwane University of Technology. Prof, it's such a pleasure. Welcome, sir. So quite a lot coming out of the 2 days of the former Police Minister Bheki Cele's appearance at the ad hoc committee, where, in my view, he not only gave a very impactful testimony, which never sought to be defensive, and he did, to his credit, did fill in a lot of gaps that were needed or that actually led to the rot within the police. How did you assess his presentation, Professor, to members of Parliament during his appearance?
Well, good afternoon, Melissa, and good afternoon to your viewers. I just need to make corrections that I'm not associated with TUT. I'm independent. I'm like General Cele. But on your question, indeed, MPs alluded to the fact that he came to the table and to be able to provide with information that is so much needed. Remember, there was still questions around Minister Mkunu, that, he was evasive in terms of, the answers that he provided. But with, General Cele, that's why the SC even, thanking him now to say that, well, we thank you. We did not even see, your legal representative in the room. So it means that he came there at the ad hoc, with the information that he knew, that he knows, and because of his extensive experience, as MEC, but as well as the commissioner, including that of a minister, he really provided with much needed information, as well as, some gaps, that were there to be able to understand. Remember, the portfolio committee is there to be able to assist in terms of providing the recommendation to the parliament regarding the matter on the table. Mm-hmm. But what he provided is more than probably what we expected from him. And I think that it will greatly assist the ad hoc committee in terms of, closing some of the gaps in terms of the understanding, the challenge within, the criminal justice system. He also highlighted that, mostly we highlight on the police as the perpetrators, but this problem of, lack of service delivery is across the board. So we also need to be able to look at corrections. We also look at the judiciary, make an example of what General Mkhwanazi came forth for, of which then he did indicate that, it's because of Judge Tulare, who also highlighted that it is not only within the police, but within, the justice, ecosystem, where prosecutors, are confronted with the challenge of making reasonable decisions because they are always coerced. And then we see that indeed there is a infiltration, but also, tampering, but also the tampering of, the impartiality of those that are entrusted to be able to come with, law and order, as well as convictions within South African criminal justice system.
Mm-hmm. Very important there to state you clearly state your association there, especially now, Professor. So we do apologize for that oversight. I mean, Prof, just while we talk about that, I mean, on the issue of some cases like, of course, Jocelyn Smith, Anele Tembe, aka, as well as other high-profile murder cases, where he did somehow give us a glimpse into how these cases might and might not have been prosecuted. Did his submissions give you a sense that there seems to be quite a deliberate effort by some prosecutors, investigators, or even some judges that might in fact be shielding these syndicates from accountability? He also lambasted the issue of bail, saying that they arrest the perps and yet the perps get bail. We saw in the KT Molefe matter raising quite serious eyebrows in this week as well.
Yeah, well, he highlighted that in terms of what already General Mkhwanazi provided, for the reforms that are needed within the criminal justice system. So the issues of bail, he was at pain, to be able to explain that it's something that is a messy, that, legislators had to look at it, but also in terms of the parole, and then the perception that whoever then, is incarcerated, they are provided with a very wonderful, environments that will not really deter crimes. But it is important then for us to be able to take what he submitted, in terms of also the amendments of a legislation, because he said it doesn't matter whom you are going to bring in the future towards the reforms, if then the constitution is not yet amended, but also we will still find problems and a lot of challenges in terms of service delivery, but also the compromising of those that are trusted with, positions within the criminal justice system. What he also provided is that people are ambitious, and that we also need to be able to bring what General Mukhwanazi provided, that we need to be able to bring audits, lifestyle audits. Because if people then are so much ambitious, others, they want to be president or deputy president, but also those who wish to become commissioners, even the heads of hawks, ultimately, where money is used and, where manipulation is used, then we will find a skewed system, a paralyzed system, and captured system. So he made mention that, other things that has to be brought along is, for the government or the parliament to look at, the allocation of money within, the security cluster, and making comparison with, China in terms of, the accessibility of the police as compared with South Africa. These are things that probably there will be in a longer term, but I think what needs to be done in a shorter term is those that will be brought, in terms of leadership, because we hear names, very serious allegations, but also what, witness either B or C make mention of the bail issues, in terms of Malefe, that we need to look at these issues and to be able to see whether do we have people that are ethically right, ethically correct, that cannot be easily corrupted. Then the other issue was whether, do we have to associate when you are a key figure in society, to be able to associate with those with the dubious characters. He made mention of it is important for one to be able to have access to information. We know that information is power. Yes. So all these things means that we have to sift to be between everything, and we take everything with a pinch of salt so that we can be able to understand then and how do we go forward.
Prof, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for that insightful engagement there. That is Professor Jacob Mofokeng, an independent crime and violence expert there with analysis on General Bheki Cele's testimony out in Parliament.